It's almost halftime, so we're ending our last business meeting talking about your character. And we're not going to bring in my characters, Roy Munson, Derek For Real, Raylons. We're talking about character in the more appropriate sense. And so I always look at these words, and I like to look at the definition. And according to Merriam-Webster, character is the way someone thinks, feels, and behaves. And actually, the Greek origin of character means to chisel or to scratch. So if you think of like a sculptor taking a chisel and chiseling a large block of stone to reveal a statue. The Latin definition is distinctive quality. And a lot of research on character I keep coming across from different business philosophers, 12 qualities or 12 pillars of character. And that's what I'm excited to share with you today. So the first 6 qualities or pillars of character, you've got integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing. Honesty, being honest with yourself. Perseverance, the ability to overcome any obstacle. And I like this, wisdom. It's not just knowing the facts and knowing the truth, it's knowing and understanding the difference between the facts and the truth. Personal responsibility. Who said that? The buck stops here. Truman? Yeah. Taking kind of a mantra for how you're responsible. And I know all of y'all are humorous. Knowing when to laugh at yourself. That's another pillar. And the last 6, flexibility. And this always reminds me of, you hear people talk about the willow tree. Being flexible, but have strength with rigidity. Patience. Learning how to work while you wait. Or as other people say, hustle. Hustle while you wait. Confidence. Confidence is about the ability to inspire yourself. And we don't have to explain good health or the nature of achievement. But the last one, courage, I really like this definition. And I wish we had time to dig into all of these, but we're just going to kind of cover this in general. But courage is fearing the right thing at the right time. Knowing what you need to be afraid of, knowing what you need to fear. And since we've been playing on the halftime theme, I often think about what's going through a coach's mind as they're leaving the field. And that's why the news reporter always tries to catch them before they go into the stadium at halftime, as they want to know what's on that coach's mind. Hey, coach, you're going into halftime, you're down by 2 touchdowns, what's on your mind? I believe they're always thinking about which 1 or 2 principles they're going to try to help their players focus on when they go into halftime. And a lot of people try to use charisma instead of focusing on character. And you can be a charismatic person. I think that is definitely important. But they're different because character is something that you have and that you are. Charisma is something you have when you're around other people. If you're alone in the locker room or alone on a deserted island, it's hard to have charisma because there's no one there with you. So all you're left with is your character. So I'm going to try to help you start understanding today is, how do you evaluate the strength of your character? If there's 12 pillars, or if you want to think about 12, as Julie's talked about, 12 hubs on your wheel. If some of them are shorter or longer than others, your wheel is a little woogity. But
that's a good word.
Yeah, you remember when you rode a bike and lots of the toys at my house are bent. but you get on the bike and the front wheel's a little crooked and woogity.
How do you spell that?
You got to straighten it out. Woogity?
G-E-T.
I never heard that. Never done it.
Look it up. I'm the one that add that definition on Wikipedia, so don't change my definition. So how do you evaluate the strength of your character? First, you have to be ruthlessly honest with yourself. And I'm going to give you two different ways. Some people try to evaluate the strength of their character. Now, let's pretend these letters are gauges on your car. What are the gauges on your car? You've got the speedometer, the odometer, oil. You got lots of different gauges. Yeah, fuel. So, and what do those gauges do? They kind of give you, yeah, kind of tell you where you are. Hey, you're almost out of fuel. Hey, you're almost out of oil. Hey, you're almost at 50,000 miles. And so based on what those gauges tell you, you can do what? You can make decisions. I need to pull over. I need to put air in my tire. I need to get an oil change. So I was going to remove one of these, but I thought I'd leave both of these gauges in here and let y'all determine which one's more appropriate. So I'm going to start on the right-hand side with R. R stands for refusal, which is refusing to take anything less than your best effort. C stands for complacency, and I like these acronyms. LIS, let it slide, or WTDA. What's the difference anyway? Complacent, complacent people can think about that. The D is decision. You can make decisions. You know where you're going. You know what to do. When you hit a fork in the road, you know you're going to go left. You're going to go right. And of course, the M stands for maybe, indecision. People get at a fork in the road and they can't make a decision on what they should do. So this is one gauge. I like this gauge better. This applies more to my personality. So we've got WAPF. The W is want. I want it real bad. You're going to stay up 3 hours after work to finish your online degree. You're going to get up early in the morning and exercise so that you can be healthier. You want something bad enough that you're not going to let anything get in your way of achieving it. The A, of course, stands for apathy. You don't care what happens. What happens, happens to us all. Can't do anything about it. The P stands for promise. The promise you make to yourself. That's the only one you need to keep. What did you promise to yourself that you're going to do? Are you going to do it? Are you going to break the promise with yourself? And the F stands for fear, which is the inability to make a promise to yourself. Okay? And y'all know I'm a big Jim Rohn fan, so these people said it better than anybody else I've seen, so I'm using their words. Character is the result of hundreds and hundreds of choices you make that gradually turn who you are at any given moment into who you want to be. It's not something that just happens overnight. I do believe, though, that it's not something you're born with, that it's something you're taught, something you learn from your parents, from your grandparents, from an aunt, from an uncle. And then our new favorite, John Wooden, character is how you react to things sensibly without getting carried away by yourself or your circumstances. He was famous for saying that he hoped every player left his school with a strong character. And he'd always end his sentences with, if I couldn't give it to them, then they never had it when they arrived. It's not something you can give someone, but you can help chisel away a little bit for them. And the last one is character is built by how you respond to what happens in your life. I remember my sophomore year at Lynchburg, upperclassmen, fraternities always pass around things, and sometimes they want to make you believe that this relic or this item has such significant value and importance. You've got to take care of it for the first 2 semesters and pass it on. And it was a wooden plaque with an emblem on it, and on the back it said, "Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it." I still really believe that's true. It really is true. So at halftime, which is coming up soon, right? We're going to have a really long halftime. It's like 6 weeks. It's going to be so long, I won't even know what to do. I want to challenge y'all to think about and evaluate 1 or 2 of your pillars. And are you doing the things you need to do? Are you reading the books you need to read? Are you attending the classes you need to attend? What are 2 things you could do? We always talk about just little things. What are 2 little things you could do in the next 2 weeks that would have a lasting impact on how you manage your business and things in your personal life? You don't have to knock off a big chunk. And how long does it take to reveal a statue inside a block of granite? It takes years, because they just take a little piece at a time. You've got to chisel your character out of the raw material of yourself. Just like a sculptor uses a chisel to create a statue. Everything that happens to you, good or bad, is an opportunity for you to build your character. That's another quote from Jim Rohn. I feel that's very true. We talked, I think, last week about how you're in control of the things that happen to you. So you've got to be responsible to yourself. You've got to make a promise to yourself that you're going to try and control that. However stressful it gets, because it does, but we're dealing with people every single day, and each situation can be different. And the only thing you can really control is how you're going to respond to that situation. And Alan's been given some great tips on how we can set contracts up legally so that hopefully you're in a better position to address any issues that may come up and prevent things from happening, in the last hour of a due diligence period or a finance contingency period. So if those things are causing you more challenge than you want, read up on some contracts. Ask Alan, Julie, or myself about how you can write better contracts. Attend a webinar. If you want to work on your marketing, if you want to work on listings, if you want to work on things in your personal life, just think about 1 or 2 things over the next few weeks that would really help you. And you'll become stronger by doing that. And you'll spend less time worrying about things you can't control, because you can really only focus on things that you can control. So we hope you'll have a great halftime. We'll look forward to seeing y'all in the next couple weeks. Thank y'all for being here.